So this is the first question on the Theta Para jumble, and the very first we know the answer. The answer is given here. C D E B A is the answer, but I will try to give you some tricks as to how to go ahead and solve the questions on Theta Para jumbles, right? So the very first thing I notice in this sentence is that I would look for the opening statement, because once my opening statement is known to me, then I can connect the rest of the statements with that opening statement, right? So look at statement A. Statement A says, in that town he discovered an aged aunt. So first of all, I don't know which town you're talking about. And secondly, when I look at the whole story of option A, it says, in that town he discovered an aged aunt who was sick. The aunt died. So which is that town? Who is he here? And who? So there is no broadness. There is no generality to this idea, and therefore I think that A may not start the paragraph. I'm not very sure about it, but still I think A could not start the paragraph. Then I look at option statement B. It says, a goldsmith consulted him about a hidden treasure. So again, there is a kind of haphazardness to the beginning of the idea, and B therefore cannot be the start of the paragraph. Now, if you compare C with the other statements, you'll find that why C is a better choice. When he was 13 years of age, Basalmo's parents determined he should be trained for the priesthood, but he ran away from his school. So, why this sounds a very good opening statement? Why? Because it has a background. What is that background? The background is the time when he was 13 years of age. Basalmo's parents determined that Basalmo, so basically it should be Basalmo. So even if I don't know who that he is, I can guess, okay, that person, that he is someone, right? It could be Basalmo's. So when he was 13 years of age, Basalmo's parents determined that Basalmo should be trained for the priesthood, but he ran away from his school. There is a completeness about this idea. There is an introduction which is basically set in a particular time zone, and I get a feeling, okay, fine, this is a story about someone by the name Basalmo, and therefore I feel that C is the most likely statement to start the paragraph. So and then I come to D. Why could not D start the paragraph? Because of the presence of the word then here, and you must notice these kind of hints. He was then confined in a Benedictine monastery. Then refers to something, right? When do you use then? When you have sequence of similar actions. So you will say that I reached the airport and then went home. So then refers to basically some kind of sequence. That means something similar must have come before this, and you must try to find that. For D cannot start the paragraph, and there must be something similar before it. For some years he wandered about in different parts of Italy, living by his wits. Again, this is rare. This is haphazard. So I feel that C is the best statement that can start the paragraph. It says, when he was 13 years of age, Basalmo's parents determined he should be trained for the priesthood, but he ran away from his school. He was then confined in a Benedictine monastery. Now, why then? Why, you might wonder, why should we have CD? Why can't we have CE? Right? The problem with E is that for some years he wandered about in different parts of Italy, living by his wits and by cheating. And then you might say that he was then confined in a Benedictine. But the problem is that the action confined in a Benedictine monastery is very much parallel with the action he should be trained. So basically, the parents thought that he should be trained, and therefore they must have sent him to school. But he ran away from school, and therefore, then that means basically after that. So first he was admitted to a school. First he was basically thought of being that he should be trained in a school. The second action was that he was confined in a Benedictine monastery. That means basically he was admitted to a school, and then he was confined to a monastery. So CD is more logical. There is a logical connect between C and D than between C and E, and therefore I would not choose CE, I would choose CD. So CD, and then it says that, but he soon but he soon got tired. We must have got tired here. But he soon got tired of the discipline and escaped. So he escaped. For some years he wandered. The escaping and the wandering are again logically connected. So you have C, D, and E, right? This is how it must be. For some years he wandered about in different parts of Italy, living by his wits and by cheating, right? And then you have A says, in that town. E does not mention the word town. There is no town mentioned in E. You cannot say the different parts of Italy is basically the town. So we cannot have C, D, E, A. We can have C, D, E, B. Why B? Because it says living by his wits and by cheating. And this cheating idea You can find in statement B. A goldsmith consulted him about a hidden treasure. He pretended, right? So this pretending and this cheating is basically, very similar. He pretended to invoke the aid of spirits, frightened the goldsmith, got 60 ounces of gold from him to carry on his incantations, left him in the lurch, and fled to Messina. Messina is a place, right? So the cheating activity is very clearly visible here in B. And the town is Messina here. In that town, he discovered an aged aunt who was sick. The aunt died and left her money to the church. Basalmo assumed her family name, added a title of nobility, and was known henceforward as the Count Alessandro, whatever the name is, I don't know. So CDEBA is the right choice. So what we have done here to come to the right answer, we first found the opening statement, then we discovered that the other statements are somehow connected. So C is logically connected with D with E with B, and A, and that is how the sequence is. So when you discover the first two or three connect, you might actually quickly come to the answer. So, though at times you might devote more time, the probability that if you have devoted more time, if you know the tricks, you might get the answer correct. So, this is let's